Hey, I'm Will Wheaton, and I have just received a dump truck full of gold bullion to tell you to watch The Scene Snobs.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
It's true. That's a paddling. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the SnobNation Morning Show. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, from the Scene Snobs channel, and thank you guys for joining in. We appreciate you. If you are here and you're hanging out, make sure you're in the comments. We're going to be talking about it a lot. We got two great guests tonight who are joining me, and I'm going to bring them on in just a few seconds, and we're going to talk about their shows. We're going to talk about other stuff and more. We want to hear from you, too. Guys, you got to be a part of it. That's right. You got to be a part of Snob Nation. And the best way to do that is join up on the Patreon, follow for free. Come check us out. You'll see our newsletter, reviews. We do special discounts on merch and tons of other stuff, links to stuff. So, and that's all for free. That's not even the perks of the paid, but all that support goes in. Now, you may be asking, Mick, you're back again. It's been over a year with Snob Nation Morning Show. It's how this nation thrived for so long, and then you took it away from us, and now everything's falling apart. And I'm sorry. But it wasn't perfect, and I needed to make it perfect, and I need to work on it. And I didn't do any of that, but I decided to do it again. So it's going to be fun. Now, you may be asking, why am I doing this every other Friday? Well, that's where you come in. Support us on Patreon. That's right. Every little bit helps, and then it can help me to do shows more often. Thank you, guys. No, but I want to say thank you again to everybody who's on our Patreon and supporting us. Truly appreciate you. And thank you to our sponsor of this episode, Shopify. If you have an e-commerce business idea, Shopify's the best. They'll help you from beginning to end. Go check them out in the link down below and get your special discount from the Scene Snobs. All right. It's time, everybody. Sound off in the comments, but I'm going to bring on two great guests. I'm going to talk about it. I have Real Wise Wilfredo Otero from the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Great podcast if you haven't checked it out. And then I have the man, Chris Osborne, from Stories from a Bar and from Popcorn and Pints. Two shows that I really do enjoy, and I hope you guys will go check them out. We're going to hear about them now. Let's bring them in. Wise and Chris, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello. Pleasure's mine. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, and I have to say it. I don't want to put you on blast, and I'm not going to sing it because I'll probably get copy hit. Happy birthday, Wise.
I appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
Happy birthday.
Appreciate it.
Person I just met for the first time.
Well, I'm glad you guys are meeting because you guys both have great podcasts, and I want to talk about them a little bit. And Chris, let's start with you.
Well, hold on. First, I want to say congratulations on your lack of podcast being the downfall of society, like you just talked about.
All right, fair enough. That's true. That's a downfall of society.
So this is America's comeback right here, right?
We're coming back strong. I mean, every other Friday for now. So it's going to be a very, strategic, small build back up, but we're coming back. I don't know how. It all may blow up in November. The Crypt Keeper may win or Agent Orange, but we'll see which one it is. Actually, and I did say this in a meme. We should stop comparing him to the Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper, man, that guy did 7 seasons of like 13 episodes a season, maybe sometimes 15. That's impressive. Come on. It's better than 4. All right. Let's be real.
For a dead man, even more so. Yeah.
Yeah, very true. Very true. That is a set. I will just say this. That is a set that I absolutely loved. That's one of my favorite sets on TV ever is the Tales from the Crypt set. So yeah, put that out there.
It is one of the things that sticks out in my childhood memory.
Especially that starting when it goes down the stairs into it.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, guys.
But good morning.
Morning. It is. It's Snob Nation morning, and we appreciate all of you joining in. But Chris, tell us about Stories from a Bar and Popcorn and Pints. 2 of my favorite shows.
Yeah, Stories from a Bar is a podcast I host. Local bar craft beer scene, and I've started adding in music and bands, local and non-local. It's basically stuff I love. Beer and music. That's kind of what it is. So I've gotten to talk to a lot of cool bands. I go to breweries, record on site, really get them to talk. I like to help support local businesses as part of it too. So it's like a win-win for me. I get to hang out, drink some beer, let them talk, because the least favorite part of the podcast is my own voice, of course. So I can just sit there and drink and let them talk about the business that I'm supporting. And of course, music, beer and music. That's what I love. So that's what it turned into.
Guys, it is. It's a lot of fun too. You should go check it out. And the fact that you're bringing that to the forefront, like you don't see a lot of drinking. No, I don't want to say drinking podcast because it's not really a drinking podcast.
It's not a get hammered podcast. It's
no.
I should state that.
It's enjoying the craft of alcohol, and it's enjoying the bar itself, the business. Like you do a great job in the bands. Like you're so into the bands. Like what are some of your favorite people that you sat down with and talked to on your show?
Oh man, I was on a roll with some Canadian punk bands, which sounds weird. I forgot how it got started. I found one punk label that I got into. It had the 90s skate sound punk bands that I really enjoyed, and what got me into punk music actually. And I think I got in contact with one of the bands through there, and then I did one with that Western Canada too, not even Montreal, just north. So scheduling is always fun when you're talking to someone in a different time zone because you can't lose track of that.
That was COVID for me. I had a lot of Australians who wanted to be on the show.
So I did that, and then then a couple other bands in that area reached out. I'm like, this is super cool. So I got to talk to some Canadian punk bands, a pop punk band out of Maryland who I've become pretty good friends with. The guy, they're called Free Friends.
Nice.
Really enjoy them. And then brewery wise, man, it's I've been to some good breweries that I probably wouldn't have gotten to if I wasn't doing this podcast. The only thing is I'm always looking for new places to go, so it's hard to get back to them.
That's fucking awesome. I love it though. And how long you been doing that now? I'm gonna let you talk.
Oh, I think maybe 6 years, somewhere right around there. It's fun. I lined up with because I'm friends with Sturdy, of course, and I met him through a mutual friend who at a con, and that's kind of where I got into podcasting because our mutual friend had a baby, so I started doing some of his social media stuff. And I just got more into running a podcast. I'm like, well, what do I like? Beer and music. And then that's what it kind of turned into. Yeah. Just kind of went from there.
Man. That's really great, and I love that. And of course, you're on Popcorn and Pints too, which any of you who are following the Scene Snobs, I'm sure you've seen me on. I love that show. I love the takes because you guys are usually watching movies you haven't seen before, like especially classics, or you're watching stuff that you have seen, but it's been a really long time, so you're getting a fresh perspective of it. And then
there's always the hate watch.
That's true.
The hate watch. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, when you guys get in a hate watch, it can be even funnier. But and that's live. Stories from a Bar is not live.
No, right? I've been slacking. Well, I took a long break because doing 2 podcasts and working full time, that takes a toll. But Popcorn and Pints. Heard of Buck 09? I have not heard of Buck 09.
Might be fun.
Popcorn and Pints just started during COVID. Everyone's home looking for a reason to hang out. I was working basically 2-day weeks and had 5-day weekends. And then we just kind of, me, Sturdy, and James just kind of kept doing it every week.
Yeah, I'm glad you do because I do love the show. I love watching it because I love new perspective on movies, especially old movies. Like if somebody hasn't seen something, I love hearing their perspective on it because I miss out on that. Watch things too young.
It's true. We've gone back and watched a lot of the 80 movies I've watched. I remember the iconic scenes, but I don't remember the rest of the movie. So some of this stuff, it's been like rewatching. It's almost like seeing it for the first time again, which has been fun.
That's awesome. I love it. You guys need to check out both these shows. Again, link down below. And Wise, man, thank you for joining in. And the Stuck in My Mind podcast, but you have so much more. You do so much more. Tell us, what do you have going on? What are you doing? And plug your stuff, man.
Well, of course, we got Stuck in My Mind podcast. We just relaunched Real Wise Radio this past June. We're still getting shows and stuff. So any podcasters, music shows, anybody who's interested in having a show on our radio station, you can reach out to me. I put the private chat. I put the sleek bio, so you can get in contact. You can contact me through there. Just creating content, man, having a good time doing what I love. It's been great these past 4 years because I've met so many amazing people. Like, we've become good friends. I'm a big Scene Snob fan. Every time I can try to support you, I pop on, or just even now recently with sharing all your content with what you've been sharing and doing. So
Yeah,
I just love being around creative people.
Love having you on, man. It's always a joy. We always have a really good time. So, like, when you said you wanted to do this, and you said it was your birthday, I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be a fun time.
Yeah,
Nice way to kick off the day.
I said, let me do something I love to do, which is podcasting and content creating and talking on the mic, and it's my birthday, so let's do this.
And you got a birthday twin too, guy we know, Master Shake, man. Happy birthday, Dan. It's his birthday too. So.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Happy birthday.
July 5th, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what you guys' parents were doing 9 months ago, but they were keeping cozy.
I was telling Wise, like, my birthday's in the 24th, so almost just under 3 weeks.
Jesus, I'm well past. I stopped celebrating after 40. I said,
Well,
nah.
I've got.
I don't even want to say, but
I've got a cousin with the same birthday.
Just know I have in a couple of years I have a big one.
Yeah, 40.
Oh,
40 plus 10.
Plus 10, yeah.
So you said you have a friend who has the same birthday as you?
My younger cousin has the same birthday, July 24th, and it's National Cousins Day.
Oh, you gotta get him 2 presents. And the same for him.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Get on it, cousin Eric. I don't even know if that's your name, but get on it.
Nope. But I'm not going to correct it.
Every time I'm on your show now, I'm just gonna be like, "Happy birthday, cousin Bill." Just till I figure it out. We'll come upon those names.
You'll eventually nail
it. One day,
there's only so many names out there.
Walter. Well, I am so glad I'm here. I'm glad you guys are here. And Real Wise Radio coming back is very exciting, guys. Go check it out for sure. But yeah, thanks guys for joining in. I had some stuff I wanted to kind of throw out and see what you guys were thinking about it. And some news that happened to pop up this morning that I thought was interesting is this new Kevin Costner movie got me thinking about something, a topic. But
is that the Western one?
Yeah, it's chapter 1 of his supposedly 4-part Western.
So it's a movie? I thought it was a series.
It's it's a movie in theaters, but it is also a series.
Didn't he finance this himself or something?
He did have some private backing, but he put like 30. So the whole for the first 2 was 100 million.
Is that all?
The estimate. Yeah, right. I'll take it. But and so I guess it breaks up to about 50 million a piece for each movie. And he's directed, co-wrote, produced, and is starring in, and he put up like $38 million of his own money. This is not a Mel Gibson Passion of the Christ type of scenario, though. It only brought in about 15 million. I saw this movie, and it seems like a good setup to whatever part 2 is going to be in August. But I've argued in the past that you shouldn't just separate 2 movies and think that that'll work. It has to be its own standalone. What bothers me about this is with the way TV works today. I mean, himself, even on Yellowstone, you can make such cinematic masterpieces into like miniseries or TV shows. Mm-hmm. Do you think in like the current way movies are working, that Westerns or stuff like that, stuff that we're trying to revisit, do you think it could work? Do you think we could bring that back, find that magic again? Because Westerns were huge. Now, not many give a shit.
Well, you got to look at it like when we were growing up, TV series had 20 plus episodes, right? Now they're keeping them between 6 and 7, 6 to like 13 or whatever it is, whatever number it is. They're not as long. Series are no longer as long as they used to be. And yeah, I kind of like what Marvel did with their TV shows, which would have been movies had they been put together as one, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't find a problem with it. It's just I guess they figure people have the short attention span. They don't want to spend all this time creating all these episodes. They just chop it down.
Well, I mean, I would argue though something like that, like because with the audience seems to really like it, but with the decline of movie theaters too, could be playing into this. Now, Chris, what do you think about like movies like this? Something, especially epics like this, you don't see them on this level anymore.
I think it's a challenge to do it with an established series. I mean, just Lord of the Rings, for example. You knew you're making a set of movies, sure. Kevin Costner's trying to do it with something original. Like, you already don't have the anticipation as you do for something as hugely popular as some sci-fi series that you know is being turned into multiple movies as you do something original. Movie making's different from when we were kids too. They weren't planning shit like this when we were kids. It was make a movie, if it makes a bunch of money, make up a sequel. It's like they weren't trying to plan things out like this. Series though, I think if you're going the Western route, I think you need to build it through a series. TV series, like hour installments at best. I mean, Yellowstone has apparently gotten pretty popular. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's a soap opera. I mean, I like it. It's beautiful cinematically. It's gorgeous, and the stories are compelling. Works for TV. I would never. And that's the thing. Tyler Sheridan, who's a good writer, he writes for TV or he writes for movies. You know, when you watch something like Wind River, which is what he wrote, it's very dense, dark movie, but it's a well-told story. You can't tell that story on TV. Like, it just, you can see like how some correlate. Kevin Costner, in my opinion, is a good storyteller as well. And he made a great one with Dances with Wolves. And at the time that worked, but would Dances with Wolves come out today and be well received in theaters? I just don't think so. I think in the climate and the way we're at, like it's not even just the Western, it's the latching onto the Western as this great way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can appreciate as I'm watching something like this, like, yeah, that happened, that existed. People lived through it and it's interesting tales, but it just it falls flat for me. I've seen it in theaters and I'm like, this just doesn't work. I was like, I need more of a story on TV.
Well, yeah. Also, when you like, I prefer honestly. Like, I used to love going to the movies when I was younger. Right, it was a great time. Like, me and my cousins, a bunch of us would go and we'd have a great time with popcorn, and it was great. But now with how you want to really, as I get older, I really want to enjoy the movie, and like the TV, your TV, high definition TVs, you have the surround sound you have in your house as well. It kind of just like, I get to enjoy it in the comfort of my home with my blanket, under the blanket with my wife, with my feet up.
Pause it when you need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, like so. It kind of like, if I want to have beer, whatever it is I want to do, it's like, all right, man, I'd rather just do it from home now.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And it seems like theaters are trying to make the experience more like home, but it tends to fall short. It's hard to keep up with something like that. You know, do you guys go to theaters often, or like how often would you say you guys go?
Maybe once every couple months. Depends on the movie. That I mean, I gotta really want to see it. Like Deadpool coming out in a couple weeks. I'm going right to the theater opening day. I'm not waiting for.
It depends on the movie. I really haven't been to the last. I want to say the last movie I saw in the theater was The Hobbit.
Wow. Okay, so it's been a while since you were in theater.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. My last movie theater might have been Barbie.
All right. Well, see, that's such an interesting thing to go, like, you know, to kind of come about too, because theaters, of course, are suffering, especially post-COVID and everything else. And I get it, but at the same time, you're right. And I love the theater experience, but you can't go by me. You know, I'm so into movies, like not just watching movies, but like getting into the full culture of them. You know, I was filming. I love all that stuff. So like going to the theater, I'm listening for this. I want this different experience, but it's been a long time since I felt like that special experience of going to a theater.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if I grew out of it or it's just different now. I love what the Alamos have been doing, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's, you know what? Because when we were growing up, like for me, it was that's where I would go to on a date. I would go sit down. We'll go. What was it? It was just something me and my friends would go do. It was just something me to get away from the neighborhood. Just, all right, let's go to the movies. Let's go somewhere. And I remember seeing The Lion King in theaters, and we had a great. It was great. It was a great time. We had a great time. It was like movie theaters were packed. We don't now when you go to the theater, if it's 5 people in the theater, that's a lot of people.
I think that depends on the theater too. Like there's a cheap one right down the hill from me.
Yeah.
That I don't mind going to because it's cheap. Again, if it's a movie I really want to see. But I'm thinking back about the big experiences I've had, like Lord of the Rings, Indiana Jones, and just massive movies that have come out. Those are the kinds of things I want to see in theaters that I won't wait months for to come out on streaming. Needs to be. I feel like if I'm going to the theater, it's because I think it's going to be an experience to see it there, as opposed to waiting the 3 months. Like the Marvel movies, most of the Marvel movies I go and see in the theater because those are supposed to be big spectacles.
Yeah, but they're not. Then even them, they're sort of falling short on it lately.
Yeah, I mean, after Endgame, that was.
Yeah, it was just, it's tough. I mean, and I get franchises starting to follow that up, but I think my biggest issue right now isn't even really theaters. Theaters are only they're recovering. They're still recovering after years. It was already on a decline before 2020.
Yeah.
And since, like, it's just been like a fight to get people back. And I will say this, like AMC is, Regal, Alamo, they're trying to make events or trying to make sure you can come out and see old stuff too, just to keep alive, but also like they're putting out gear and stuff, like that you can get official movie gear and stuff, which is cool. And I love that. Because that's what I think a movie theater should be. I think there's too many, in my opinion. I think every city should probably have one, or at least every county or something. And when you go, you should feel like, I'm at the movies. This isn't like, oh, you're taking a date on the movies. This is like, oh, you're taking a date to the movies.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can show all different types of stuff, but now with like Sony buying the Alamo chain, I'm hearing positive things from the chain themselves. Well, hold on I just want to finish this point. I'm hearing positive things from the chain themselves because there's supposedly a plan. It's a really tough call though, because movie theaters owning theater chains is just not. It's a terrible idea.
It's a conflict of interest, I would think. Like, because then now Sony's on like if Sony's buying theaters, they're gonna just want to show their movies.
They could, yeah. I mean, it should be more favorable if you're buying such a big chain like that.
But it's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna just show. Why would I want to build up someone else's movie when we have a bunch of movies that we want to promote and get out there?
Yeah,
so it would be, to me, it would be a conflict of interest.
It definitely, something about it sounds off. Like this doesn't seem like a great way to go if you're the theater, or good for entertainment in general, I guess. But I don't know what to expect.
So the theaters, for anybody who doesn't know, and I'm probably going to do a history episode on it for Snobs Film History, but the Paramount Decree of 47, that's when the United States Department of Justice sued the movie theaters, telling them like your vertical integration ain't gonna work. Like there's nothing for the consumers. You're completely screwing the consumers out of it. You're screwing the theater chains, everything else with their block booking and whatnot. So that ended in 2020. And this isn't a political issue for me. It's not like, but like, I'm still annoyed that it got overturned in 2020. It was bullshit. And we should have known better, but because the second that happened, and I'm not saying it happened for any other reason than it just got changed, but very convenient. A couple months later, You have Amazon Studios buying one of the ArcLight cinemas, which was dying after COVID. And that was a big deal. Like, it may have been one theater in Hollywood, but now you have Amazon Studios owning and being an exhibitionist for movies, and that's a monopoly. It's a conflict of interest. You guys are absolutely right. Now we see what the effects of it, and that's the thing that bothers me is, Sony, which is really has only video games at this point. Their movies are horrible. They're not
the best.
I mean, Madam Web alone. Now imagine going out to the Alamo Theater for the premiere night of Madam Web 2. Who gives a shit? All right. It's stuff like that. It's so I understand it's been work for a long time. I hate the fact that this is happening. I think it should have always been kept separate. It's going to screw people. It's going to screw indie people even more, because the Alamo Drafthouse was the last bastion of theaters that was like really pushing indie film. And I don't think they're going to get rid of that right away. But indie films that maybe Sony wants to buy, or stuff like that's what they'll show. But like, it opens it up. And now what? WB is going to buy AMC. Universal is going to buy Regal. Yeah, it's going to go bad. Unless it implodes, it's going to go bad. But
I feel like it's headed in that direction.
Yeah, but it makes me not want to go to the theaters that much anymore.
I will tell you one of my here's a fun little theater trip story. Maybe one of the, I'll remember this on my deathbed, probably going to see the second Lord of the Rings movie, packed theater. This guy must have been on a date, either in front of me or behind me. I was there with a couple friends. We're like at least an hour or two into the movie. Sam and Frodo are literally on the mountainside staring at Mordor, talking about how they're going to get in. And I hear this girl behind me go, "Why do they need to get in there?" I'm like, the front of my brain just hit the front of my skull. We're 2 hours into the second movie of the Lord of the Rings.
I don't like. I'm not. There are some people, man, when it comes to movies, and I get it. Some people just aren't movie fans, but like, it's some dense questions like that. Like, why is this happening? What have you been doing for 2 hours?
I'm like, they need to destroy this ring, and they have to do it in there. That's as simple as you can explain it. And they've been talking about it for 2 hours.
But it's such differences too. Like when you talk to certain people about movies and what they see versus what you see. Like I was talking to my wife the other day about the Lord of the Rings, and we were talking about like the horizon, because I was telling her how, a movie should have a standalone and, be able to stand on its own, not stand alone, but be able to stand on its own, even if it's part of a trilogy or whatever. And she was like, "Well, what about Lord of the Rings? That first movie was complete setup." And I was like, "No, it was about the Fellowship. That movie." I was like, "Yeah, it's setting up others. Yeah, it's definitely setting up things. But like by the end of that movie, the Fellowship's broken up. So like we got the contained story of the Fellowship in it. And why?
And then and the second one then was the Two Towers, which were the Two Towers, and the last one was Return of the King. So yeah, to me it was that right. My favorite movie all time is Return of the King, and so I wish theaters would be more successful, because the nostalgia, especially I've seen so many movies in my lifetime. I can remember a lot of times when I remember going and seeing Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood in the movie theaters. I remember when I went to see Die Hard in the movie theaters. There's movies that you just what was it? The Michael Douglas movie where he just loses his mind and
Falling Down.
Oh, great movie. Loved it.
That is good.
Yeah.
Went to see it in the movie theaters. Indecent Proposal, we went to go see that in the movie theaters, and there was a part where I'm talking to my girl. I said, "Yeah, I would at least gotten 10 million." And then during the scene, he says, "Oh, I could have got you more for your wife." It was just those moments when for me at least, is those when you just there's certain movies that when you see in the theater, you're just like, man, all right, you're gonna just have these memories for the rest of your life.
Absolutely, and I have a fun story for that too. But I do want to finish the point on my wife only because I don't want her to kill me because she thinks I was putting her point down. But it gave me, her saying that though gave me a different perspective of how, because she's always said to me, she's like, I'm not a movie fan like you. I like movies, but like I don't get all into them, and I don't have like I do. And I was like, I completely get that. I was like, this is an obsession almost at times, so I definitely get it.
But it's not what they're wrong. There's something wrong with them, not us.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to be a part of the exclusive club. No, but it gave me a different perspective from just thinking about it from a writing standpoint of when you're writing stuff. Like, yes, it should be standalone, but even more so for the people who don't buy into your trilogies, which I think is, or I say trilogies, but like any type of continuing thing. Like and there's far too many filmmakers creating franchises now.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, you're going to alienate a lot of people because they want a movie and they'll accept a sequel if this is good. They don't want two-parters.
Yeah. Rebel Moon. I was so excited. And it was okay to me. It could have been way better. And then they come out with the second one, and it's like you said, there's nothing to make either one stand out.
No,
I think when they plan a franchise, I don't think they put the thought into each movie having its own contained story. Like they're strictly focused on, we got to make this to get to the next one because we want to make money over 3 movies, and not have a single strong movie on its own. Like they're losing that because everyone's trying to go for trilogies for everything.
Yeah, and even now TV shows and stretching into, like, take Star Wars into account. Like, these are movies you could go have fun with. And that was it. Like, that's why I never understood why there was so much visual hate. Now I understand there are people who just love to hate, and it is what it is. And every group, every franchise, there's going to be people like that. But like Star Wars is like number one when it comes to that. Like, there are people who are viscerally hate.
Oh yeah.
And with the current of how things are going now, am I saying how I like things going? No, it's not strong writing is the problem. Like, at least Lucas had an idea and he ran with it. It's almost like the antithesis of what I'm saying. Like, he ran with this whole plan right after the success.
Because you gotta look, like, it was amazing. Some of the stuff we grew up like watching, like Never Ending Story. You had a lot of stuff that you have writers, you had people that actually wrote. Now it seems like they're just copying and pasting.
That's a good point. That's a great point, actually.
So it's not the same like for us, because now you get all these reboots of all these shows that we grew up watching and we enjoyed so much because it was original thoughts when we saw it. Like RoboCop, all this other, like I don't want to see. I don't want to see the reboot. I don't want to see the Goonies remade. I don't want to see. There's certain movies I would hate. I would not go see if they remade them.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Point Break is one of my favorite movies.
Aren't they redoing that one?
They did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
That already happened. Damn.
So bad. It really was like I feel like you're right. It is like a copy and paste. Like, you steal a soul of it when you try to like reinvent it, and if you go back even to like if you go back to like the most simple things of the time. Let's go back to the 80s or the 70s or something like that of sitcoms, right? And this goes all the way up to the biggest blockbuster movies. There was a level of respect put into the process of filmmaking. You had like in certain movies, you had John Williams with his full orchestra making the music. You had people like Drew Struzan who are making these beautiful paintings of the look at all those iconic posters that we have. Star Wars alone, when Luke is holding it up and Leia's on the front, and you have Vader in the back, that was Drew Struzan. Indiana Jones, where he's got the whip, like all those really beautiful painted. It felt like you were again, like those are things that added things to the theaters. Like now I go to the theaters, and one of the things that's outside for the one of the containers for the posters it's for the brand new movie out that week, and it's broken, so everyone has rain like water damage on the poster. You know, and like I go to the theater, I love taking a picture in front of a poster. I love keeping my movie tickets. I love doing it. There's no heart to it anymore.
Yeah.
And it bothers me, and I understand trying to keep up with stuff like that, but any theater that's willing to keep up with that little thing of like, okay, when people come in, here's your ticket. Like you should give like a ticket to people and be like, hey, just in case you keep it, we have thanks for coming to the Alamo tickets, or thanks to coming to EMC tickets. You know, because people love to hold on to us, movie fans. Like I still have the ones from the first one I took my stepson to, the Peanuts movie, nonetheless. He was like 3. You know, I still hold on to those. Those are memories for me, and we take pictures in front of the poster. I don't want to go to a movie theater and all your posters are damaged. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm walking in, especially, like I want to feel like I walk in, I want to feel like I'm going in for an experience. And it sucks that that's lost.
A lot of that's lost but is that also part of us being, you know, in our 40s now, as opposed to being younger?
I feel like kids today would enjoy that experience. Like I feel like that's always a magical, like walking in. Like
you know what it is to walk out of, and for me it was like you walking out of theaters, right? And other movies are breaking out. Like there was a lot of people. Right? I'm talking about on a Friday night in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay. You would go to the AMC, and every theater would be packed.
Mm-hmm.
Every theater, and it was like there was nothing but good quality movies out. Like you had some amazing movies coming out, and every theater was packed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not that. It's not the same to me. People, it's just we've got the people have made it easier I'm just gonna use this idea and just tweaking little things here and there, and now here it is. Here we go. And it's just to me, it's just they haven't been very creative.
Yeah. No, Chris, please. I want to hear what you have to say.
I don't disagree. The goal now is to create a new franchise, probably for most of these studios. Every time they come up with something original, but it's not just that. I think it's just oversaturation. There's too many options out there now.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make something out of anything you can, just to have content, almost to some extent.
No, for sure. And then also to and I listen, I don't blame the theaters. So like they could do those things, but you know, studios used to help in that aspect.
Yep.
You know, those posters that were really well done, that music that was really well done, the sound, like a lot of that was provided by the theaters. You know, they don't want to do that anymore. They want to focus on the streaming, and I get that. It's just sad to see another thing that I know it's like that nostalgia thing that you know you're going to miss when it's gone, and it's coming. Maybe not to an end, maybe not to a point where it's completely gone, like video stores, but
I was just thinking Blockbuster.
Yeah, like even then, like Blockbuster came in and took away all the mom and pop video stores we loved.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like there's always a level of like we're always one-upping the technology and destroying something great in the process.
Yeah, I remember because my aunts used to run a video store, and I was their official. Like people they think I'm kidding when I say I've seen probably 10,000 movies. And I'm from all types. Like I remember all the Traumaville movies, Maniac Cops, all these movies that aren't shown in theaters. There's so many Sleepaway Camp, all these movies that I remember growing up that weren't in major theaters, but there's some classics.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely were. And I mean, listen, I think we're getting to a point where one day video stores may come back. And actually, this would be a fun little conversation about it. Let's before we get started into the video store aspect of it, tell us a little bit about what you guys love about video stores. I heard what you had to say was about. How about you, Chris? Would
Oh,
tell us what they meant to you, sir.
There was, everyone knows Blockbuster. There was another store called Screen Gems when I was growing up. That one was closer than Blockbuster. So that's kind of where we went to first. Video games too, man. You could rent video games. I think between that and the movies, the candy, the smell, something about just looking at all the cases and praying when you get there, you see the tape behind the sealed movie VHS case, and then digging through the returns. I'm like, come on.
Got it. Let's do
You
it.
gotta have it. Come on.
It was. I think that was the most infuriating thing for people, which is like, listen, I get with streaming, but even then, like last night I was trying to watch, my wife and I were just laughing. We're having a good time. And we're like, what do you want to watch? And it was like, she goes, how about Bring It On? I was like, okay. I was like, I like that movie, and couldn't find it. You know, to rent, you can rent it. Now, I'm not against renting the movies, but like, we're pegged with all of this. Hey, it's on streaming. It's on streaming. It's on streaming. But then we went to go. That didn't work, so we were like, well, I don't want to pay. So like, let's go see if Dazed and Confused is on again. And it happened with like 8 or 9 different movies until we finally were like, all right, let's just watch this. You know, like I should never, like, if I'm feeling like I should just watch this, like, but if there's a video store in my town, at one point we've just been like, let's just go. Let's go pick something out. It's way more fun doing that.
Yeah, something I just thought of with the video store, there's a finite level of possibility. Like this is what's available right here. You don't go down a hole like you do with Netflix or Hulu or Max or anything like that. Like so much that I don't even know what I'm looking for. Like there could be something awesome in here that's just they're not showing me on my screen that I'm overlooking.
You would have to put your name on a list. Have them call you when a movie came in.
I forgot about the list.
God,
I forgot about the reserve list.
Yes.
Oh, I did. I loved. So, you know, I like to joke that I've worked in every aspect of filmmaking at some point, because I worked at a Premiere Video, but Blockbuster put them out of business, so I refused to go work for Blockbuster. So I went to work for Hollywood Video instead, which to me always had way more gems, in my opinion, especially in the horror section. But yeah, I still shopped at Blockbuster. I still got my card, and I still love them, but whatever. But when they went, like, it just did, like, you lost so much.
Oh man, I remember when
movies.
I remember when Hollywood decided to fold. I was just racking up on DVDs. I was just racking up. I built up my DVD collection from Hollywood, because when they was selling, they were like, "Yeah, we're selling everything." All right.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. And that was what it came to for us last night. Like, we went and got a couple of our books out, because I did not keep the DVD cases. I put them all in books. So it's like, I moved around too much. So like, we're flipping through them and we're like, all right, you want to watch this? And I was like, oh man, I haven't thought about that. And like, we just kind of keep going back and forth. That was way more fun than just jumping up on streaming and doing it. And I'll tell you, for anybody who wants the feeling of like kind of walking through a video store, and this is the closest I've felt in a long time. Get on Letterboxd and start putting your movies on there, but go by like genre or go by year or something like that, and then just kind of go through and look at all of like the cool artwork, because it's all like looks like the artwork on shelves, really. Yeah, just go through that and like, man, just have like a good time, like rediscovering some old stuff. Like, because I was just picking out and was like, oh yeah, I have seen that, you know, and adding it to my letterbox. But that was a good feeling, man. Just being able to walk through the aisles and like look at I remember Two-Headed Shark Attack. Not that was the sequel to Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. Craziest fucking movie I've ever seen. But
how
like,
could you ever confuse those?
How could you confuse them? But at the same time, by
Yes.
the box, you could tell by the box. One has a giant shark and the other has 2 heads on a giant shark.
There you go.
But it's the same exact cover, regardless. But like stuff like that, like the stuff Sturdy's doing on his Sturdovision show. Like, how many movies am I giving him when we're talking that I just remember from video stores? It's countless. And you were right when you said that, Wise. Like, I don't know. Come on, movie theater. Actually, I think movie theaters would benefit from opening up a video store in the movie theater.
I think there's something there, even if they design them to look more like a video store or something. I feel like there's something there.
Yeah, they can. I think this is what they should do. They should give you your own theater to do virtual reality, like give you the goggles and everything, and you sit down and you watch the movies in the goggles.
Wise, you and I are on very different planes here. I was just like, open up a video store inside of it so I can walk around. Because I will walk and go see a movie and then come out and rent a movie and go.
Oh, that's not a bad idea though.
You know, I'll rent it and then I got to bring it back. So if I'm going to bring it back, I might go see another
movie. There you go. Problem solved.
That would be smart if they did that and were like 7-day rentals. Okay, you come on a Friday, boom, come back next Friday, drop it off, come see the new movie that's coming out. You know, and then like in the theater, say, okay, here's just another idea. Okay, so in the theater, say, hey, have you checked out these titles? These movies are sort of like the movie you're about to watch, and then it's just in your head, or ask trivia about movies that are similar to it. So in that way, you're like, you know what, I want to see that. Oh, they got a video store. Let's check it out.
True.
Like that's the exhibitionism I'm cool with. Fuck you, theater. Stop buying movies. You know, and like, yeah, fucking somebody's gonna do this shit, and I get no credit for it.
Exactly. Just like every other idea.
Thanks for listening. But I have often said, I was like, I bet if you could buy a video store in the same complex as like a movie theater, or you know, just like a rent out of space and have a video store. You know, Friday nights, people are going to want, and they're in the movie mood. They're going to come home. I mean, I've always seen it. I've always seen people go to the theater and then come back and rent stuff back in the day right afterwards. We didn't like that. We want something new.
You just watched the movie you loved. You're in the mood for that. Some more of the same genre.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. So I don't know. I miss the video store too much, or I could just keep talking about this all day, but I love it. But guys, as we're kind of going on, I do want to talk about a little bit what's coming up. What is coming up that could make you go to theaters? If anything has come out that might be enticing to you right now, or you know, just maybe something that could win you over in the next few months.
Well, my goal right now is to live long enough to see the Deadpool movie in theaters.
Yeah.
Just a couple of weeks away.
That would probably be my. If I'm going to the theaters, that would probably be my choice as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, I haven't really been keeping up with what's coming out, honestly.
Well, yeah.
What are some of the big titles that are coming?
Well, tonight I'm probably going to go see Maxine. That is funny enough, that's the third in a trilogy, a horror trilogy that started with a movie called X and Pearl, which came out in 2022.
I was going to say, I've seen that and I saw it referred to as the third in a trilogy, but I had no idea there were two movies before it.
Oh yeah. I feel like you could probably watch each on their own, but that's actually a testament to good writing, in my opinion. Like if you can watch each movie in a trilogy on its own and not worry about watching the other ones, that's great fucking. But if you watch all of them, you get an even greater experience. That's a great trilogy. That's Back to the Future for me.
Ooh,
yes, ooh.
Back to the Future, I think is one.
There's not many trilogies that really were really good. Like this, but Back in the Future, I enjoyed all three. Yes, definitely that was one of them.
Again, each one its own story.
Yeah.
Well, I've always had I have two theories about trilogies, or any franchise for that matter. Most people aren't going to like the third one. A, because it's generally the ending of a story that you have really liked over these past two.
Mm.
And I always call them away team movies because they always seem like they take place away. Or it's maybe not like on a certain destination, but like it's always the weirdest one. So I've always referred to them like a Star Trek away team movie. And like nobody's been able to prove me wrong yet. And it can happen, like if there's a franchise of like 7 or 8 movies, every 3 movies in an away team movie. Every third movie.
I have not thought of that. And now I'm curious to Google trilogies and see what comes up.
Yeah, and it's again like, so everybody who's like, well, they're not away in this, they're not away. it's more about, like, let's take Indiana Jones. You had this formula in the first two movies of, like, he had the damsel in distress, and like, yeah, of course, you see the fight Nazis or this, that, or the other thing. But when you get to the third one, he's deep in it. He has to go save his father behind enemy lines. He has to take the fight to them, whereas they were always kind of gunning for him. So, like, it changes the formula of what we see and really kind of drastically changes where they went with it. So, and it just seems to happen every third movie, So
what was the third Star Trek movie?
Third Star Trek movie was Search for Spock.
Okay, that's right.
So, and then even after that, because then you have 4, 5, 6. 6 was Undiscovered Country, where they were out on their own, and they had to go. They remember they got arrested. They went to the Klingon prison planet. Yeah, they just, like, so every, like, third, it just hits different. But it's also in trilogies. I do think that we often have, when it's the ending of something, you automatically aren't going to like it as much.
You can't make everybody happy. Everyone wants something different.
Yeah. Even like Return of the Jedi, Ewok.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, so that's always been sort of my stance on it. But, like, with movies coming out, as of now, like failed trilogies, I would say that Rebel Moon is definitely one.
He already announced he was doing a director's cut, didn't he?
So is
Snyder.
it going to be another movie?
Yeah, it's third one coming out, and then I guess still his director's cut. God, it's so
it's his movie. It was literally his idea. Like, how could you not put out what you wanted to put out the first time?
Yeah, why would Netflix tell you no?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't seem like, I saw that garbage movie they just put out, Trigger Warning.
This was Jessica Alba. I love Jessica Alba from when she was Dark Angel, but besides that, I don't really. And then Spy Kid. No, not Spy Kid. She sucked. But it's Dark Angels. The only thing I really love her, and it's nothing. It's not a real Jessica Alba movie out there. And then to imagine her as this elite soldier killing people, and
Well, what bugged me about the lead soldier part, and thank you for joining in,
Jason,
and he wished you a happy birthday.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it, brother.
Bothered me about that fucking movie, that Trigger Warning movie.
I have not seen this.
You do not.
Waste of time.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing I've heard is encouraging me to see it.
It's so bad, and it's funny because I don't dislike Jessica Alba. I don't dislike Anthony Michael Hall. All the other actors I didn't really know in it, but it was just one of those, like, what is this? Like, you guys, I know you guys are better actors. I've seen you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I understand, that tends to fall when you ask those questions, it tend to fall more on the director, but this was just bad. Like, you should have known this from the script.
Mm-hmm.
Did somebody just sell you on the fact that you got to be a badass or something? And you're like, I'm in.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's hard for me to believe that Jessica Alba is this badass chick and she's doing all this, and
That's how I felt about Madam Web.
Man. Oh my God, nobody acted in that. Nobody.
I don't know how they could have read that script and be like, we've got a winner.
I don't think they cared. I think they just wanted to keep owning the Spider-Man properties, so they were like, let's just keep shit. What did AI give us this week?
They have to put something? They have to put something out, I assume, to just maintain the rights, right?
Yeah, it was the same with Universal and Hulk. It was like owning the character.
Yeah, but it's horrible, man. It's the fact that they're allowed to put crappy ass movies like that, and I thought Madam Web was going to be pretty good, and no.
I thought it had potential to be okay. One of the things that kind of hysterical now that I look back on it, because they really played up the action in the trailer with all the girls in their suits and stuff like that, and They may show the girls in their suits for like 30 seconds of total time throughout the movie.
It's so stupid.
I'm like, really?
It really is. Like the whole thing, like the fact that we're in a culture entertainment wise now where more corporate entertainment is looked at as like, they'll take what we give them. But the climate seems to be moving back to a point where like people are like, no, we'll just entertain ourselves then. You know, like we'll find other ways. And like, so it comes back to like people watching like our shows and shit like that. Like a lot of people are just getting tired of it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like I love watching you and Sturdy, in which I do it when y'all do get together and everything, because it's entertaining. You got and you guys enjoy some of the movies that you guys review. I enjoy growing up watching these movies, so it brings me like it's just a nostalgia feeling. So when you're able to connect with a show like with your show and other shows, is because there's certain things about that you might have reviewed or something you might have talked about on a certain show that kind of like, all right, Scene Snobs gets me. They understand, they get me. That movie was something I really enjoyed it as a kid or whatever. And then to have y'all talk about it or review it, and y'all do talk about some great movies, like some classics that people just don't know about. Like people just be like, word, that was a movie. And I'm like, yeah, like
I gotta watch the Helen Keller movie now. Thanks.
Oh
to
my God, yes, Helen Keller versus
Sturdy
Sniper.
and his stuff. I gotta watch that one.
It was.
I wouldn't have known about that otherwise.
Oh my God, I love that movie so much. But,
See, I still gotta watch that.
see, I was so afraid. I was like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna have time to talk about.
I forgot there was a movie. What was the movie? Yeah, y'all guys reviewed, and I had never seen it before, right? And then I kind of looked it up because you guys was talking about it, and it was I enjoyed it because it brought me back to the B movies that I used to watch and I used to enjoy so much. Like I don't care what people say, this Stuff and all these other movies were great. Was it the Toxic Avenger? Like all these movies to me was, even though they were low budget B movies, I just enjoyed the humor and yeah, some of the sexual things that they had. Of course they had girls with boobs running around and stuff. So when you're a kid, you're like, ooh, boobs.
Still can't resist that.
Titties. Yeah, we went there with one of his movies because we watched an Andy Sedaris movie, and it's just like every time it showed up, we were just like, oh my God. Okay. Nobody watched this. Fuckers, come in and watch the watch parties. I still can't resist the Helen Keller jokes. Lord Duncan, what's going on? Thanks for joining in. Appreciate you again. But yeah, that is a funny movie. And I need to see Toxic Avenger. Yeah, Joe Bob just did it on his show if you ever like doing that.
Yeah, that's not one if I saw it, I don't remember it.
I actually know people in that movie.
Really?
It's filmed in New Jersey, yeah.
They're rebooting that too, right? Is there a new one coming out? Did it come out?
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is in it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Is he?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was making that up or if that was real.
There's some shots out there you can find. I haven't seen them in a while, but it's been pretty quiet. But yeah, they're coming back with it. Did you remember the cheese? Oh my God. I fucking love that movie. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on today. SnobNation Morning Show. I think this is a good one back after so long.
We're rebuilding America here.
Rebuilding America. One brick at a time, every other Friday. That's where we're at. We're gonna make America again. That's where we're at. I don't know what that means, but we will. We're going to bring back video stores. That's where. There you go.
Yeah, we need to. We need to.
It also means don't be a douche.
Listen. It will bring families together.
Yeah, there we go. Family trips to the video store.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kids love that. You all gets to pick a movie. Or everybody gets to pick their own movie. Yeah, like We will bring families back together. That's what
I remember being a kid waiting outside for them to unlock that door at 10 a.m.
Yep. Oh yeah, summers just going in, especially when they had like dollar movie rentals you could do.
Man. Yeah,
I loved it.
Let's bring mom and pop's video stores back. That's what we need to bring back.
Yes.
Some of those are out there, but they're not selling they're not renting out the kind of movies that we've talked about.
Guys, thank you again so much.
They're renting out special kind of movies. Okay.
Yeah, they're special, different class of movie.
Different, yeah. It's behind the curtain.
Yeah, the whole store is the curtain.
Guys, again, thank you so much for joining in. I want to truly appreciate you. I'm gonna, we're gonna take off now because we're trying to keep this about an hour right now, but who knows? We'll see how America goes. If you guys are good, maybe a little bit more next time.
The stronger America gets, the stronger it gives
The
us
stronger
more
the
will.
show gets.
Yes.
Thank you guys again so much. Remember to check out Chris from Stories from a Bar podcast and Popcorn and Pints. Remember to check out Will Wise Otero over at Real Wise Radio. And if you have a show and you're looking for a great radio station to be a part of, go check them out and message them. And also check out Stuck in My Mind podcast. I really appreciate you guys for jumping in, talking movies with me today, hanging out and having a good old time.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Anytime you guys want to come back, you just let me know. But and yeah, guys, thank you for watching and being a part of it and commenting along. And until next time, I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Make sure to check out the Scene Snobs channel. And until then, have a great morning. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Later.
Bye.
Peace.